What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about Unsane. So, in this movie, there's a woman played by Claire Foy. She's trying to kind of leave her past behind her. She's relocated to a new town. She's got a new job. She's kind of pretty much starting fresh. You know, she doesn't know anybody in the area. She doesn't have friends or family there. And she's trying to get away from this guy who had stalked her repeatedly. And, finally she thinks she's been able to make a clean break and kind of get a fresh start. The issue is that while she's having some success in some parts of her life, she keeps seeing the stalker like everywhere. Every man that, she gets close to, she starts to see the stalker's face, and she just can't escape from that. It's done so much, emotional and mental damage to her. So she visits a therapist to try to get some help, and the initial visit goes really well. They have a pretty, direct conversation about, her mental state, and has she ever thought about, hurting herself? And she said that, yeah, in the past I've thought about it, but that was a long time ago, and I don't think about it now. Well, as it turned out, that put up some red flags with the therapist, and pretty soon, she finds herself involuntarily committed. Voluntarily committed, actually, because she signed the paperwork, but she didn't realize when she was signing the paperwork what she was signing because she didn't read it. So she ends up, being held on the mental health ward, and she's having some real issues with that because she's feeling trapped and she's feeling overwhelmed. So she acts out in some ways to try to get out of there because, she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't feel like she should be there. And her actions end up, getting her a longer stay there. So the issue becomes that one of the hospital workers, she's convinced, is the guy who stalked her, and that he has put this whole thing together so that he can have her trapped in, where she can't get away from him. And at the same time, she starts to kind of forge these little relationships with some of the other patients, some for the better, some for the worse. And the movie just kind of unfolds in, is she crazy, or is this all, even though it's convoluted and wild premise, is she, maybe she's not just paranoid. So the big thing about this movie was that it was shot on iPhones. And I mean, that's not a big deal to me because I've seen a bunch of movies shot on iPhones. I know that I've seen one by this, with a big Hollywood kind of deal like this one. But so that really wasn't a big deal for me. I don't think it had too much of an impact on the movie itself. Technically, you can definitely tell it was shot on lower end cameras, but it's still, the image quality still holds up and it looks fine. It was also shot in low light, which doesn't really help a whole lot as far as getting a great looking picture, but it suits the mood and the tone of the material, which matters to me more than technical merits. I also do think, though, they made a really good use of the camera in that it's like super claustrophobic. Everything is super up close and personal and intense. You have that like feeling, just like the character's name in the movie is Sawyer, and like you feel like just as trapped and like claustrophobic as she does. It's a really effective way to tell the story. I like the core narrative of the things that start to unfold around her in the hospital as far as why she might be there. It's really interesting. It makes some pretty cool like social commentary, like about our healthcare system and how people don't listen to women whenever they're feel like they're in danger. It doesn't harp on them, and it's not super heavy-handed, but it's there and you can pick up on it. But they don't let it like dominate the narrative. Toward the end of the movie, things start to unravel, and it just kind of turns into like a Lifetime style melodrama and into this kind of predictable finish. But up until that point, it's a really good movie, and I think even with even with the kind of mediocre ending, I still think the atmosphere and just the vibe of it and how lean and like polished it is, even though shot on iPhones, like I think it's really impressive. And I'm not saying that it's a great movie because I don't think that's true, but I think it's, for what it is, it's really effective. Like, it doesn't do anything spectacular, it doesn't do anything groundbreaking, but it takes a well-established formula and just like polishes it to a high shine, and it's really effective. Claire Foy is fantastic in the lead, like really good. She got so much attitude, so much like screen presence. It was amazing. I loved her interactions with the other patients. She has like it's like a really bold character, and I just really liked it. I think it's really funny, and also like she seems like she could be nuts, or maybe just maybe just a little bit unstable. Joshua Leonard is in it as well, and he's okay. Plays kind of the creepy, quiet guy pretty well, but is not really that memorable. Claire Foy is definitely the main draw of the movie. I would recommend it to anybody who likes thrillers or kind of melodramatic dramas. It's nothing, nothing life-changing, but it was a really solid watch. It goes by really quickly. The pacing is good. And like I said, until you get to the end where it kind of runs out of gas, up until that point, I think it's a really effective thriller. And the fact that it was shot on iPhones really shouldn't dissuade you or persuade you to see it, because I really don't think it has that much of an impact on the movie, aside from how much more intimate, the camera could be with the characters, and I do think they use that aspect of it pretty well. So I liked it a lot better than I thought I was going to. I thought it would be just a really basic thriller, or that it would have some kind of really crappy twists or something in it. And as it turned out, it's just a really solid movie. I would definitely recommend it to genre fans or anybody who just wants. It's a good one just to pop in and like pass some time, but nothing out of this world or anything. So that's my review of Unsane. You can check out a full review of it at markfusion.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, Letterboxd, all that kind of stuff at markfusion. But the best thing you can do to help me out is just to hit that sub button. Free, easy, direct way to support me, help me to continue to make this kind of content. I know I said it like a million times, but like I really do think you should give Unsane a chance. I know a lot of people are going to sleep on it because it was shot on iPhones and because it kind of looks. The trailers don't look all that great, but it's a really solid movie if you like thrillers or you like melodrama. I had fun with it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye.